The following review contains significant plot spoilers. Please watch at your own risk.
One more chance. Miss Mathis will live in exchange for the check.
Oh, you have Miss Mathis, is that it?
Will you pass over that check?
No, I don't think so.
The Schiefer is
Stand
with Miss
still,
Mathis.
Mr. Bond. I said stand still. Close the door and put on the lights. Well, it seems we have a few points of mutual interest to discuss, huh? Such as that check for 87 million francs. Money which was partly supplied by the French Secret Service through its agent, our little friend Valerie. Yes. Valerie Mathis, agent of the Deuxième Bureau. Huh? Oh, I only found that out today. Of course, you would have died at once, but I thought I hold the thread of your life over this American. Not that he seemed to care. He still put his job first.
He had to.
Maybe in any case it was a mistake. If I would have known that the French had supplied you with funds in case you needed more money.
Valerie, why didn't you tell me you were with the French?
Oh, I think I can answer that. Oh, as you most certainly know, Mr. Bond, no secret agent can ever be quite sure.
Many people believe that 1962's Dr. No marked the first screen appearance of the character James Bond. Not many people know that 8 years earlier there was a 50-minute live television production featuring James Bond, based on Ian Fleming's first novel, Casino Royale. This short film was named after the novel and was broadcasted on CBS for their anthology series called Climax. Despite following the novel closely, a very noticeable change was made. James Bond is portrayed as an American agent and is referred to many by the name Jimmy. Felix Leiter, on the other hand, is renamed Clarence Leiter and is portrayed as a British agent. I have to admit, I never really got to see this short film until recently when I saw the whole video on YouTube. After watching it, I can honestly say that while it wasn't as bad as I expected, it certainly isn't that entertaining. For any crazy Bond fan out there like myself, I would recommend this just for the interesting history and the origins of the character on film. I will go over the plot very quickly since it's identical to the official 2006 Bond film of the same name. James Bond, played by Barry Nelson, is ordered to go to Casino Royale to meet his contact Clarence Leiter, played by Michael Pate. Leiter explains to Bond his mission, to defeat Le Chiffre, played by Peter Lorre, at Baccarat and force his Soviet spy masters to kill him. Bond also meets a former lover, Valerie Mathis, played by Linda Christian, who is the current girlfriend of Le Chiffre. After a while, Bond manages to bankrupt and defeat Le Chiffre at Baccarat, but is held captive when he returns to his hotel room. Also held captive is Valerie, revealed to be a French agent. Le Chiffre tortures Bond in order to find out where Bond has hidden the check for his winnings, but to no avail. After a fight breaks out between Bond and Le Chiffre's guards, Bond shoots and wounds Le Chiffre, saving Valerie in the process. The film ends with Bond telling Valerie to get the police as Le Chiffre is dying. I heard that there is a lost ending to the film where Le Chiffre threatens Valerie with a concealed razor blade and uses her as a shield before finally being killed by Bond. I haven't seen this ending, and I believe that it is only available on the DVD of the 1967 spoof of Casino Royale, which we will talk about in a future video. Barry Nelson plays James Bond and manages to give an okay performance, despite having virtually no background info about the character to go on. I do believe that if James Bond was in fact an American, Nelson would have been an ideal candidate to play Bond in the official series. The main villain of the film is Le Chiffre, played by Peter Lorre. Lorre gives a great and creepy portrayal of the character and practically steals the show. I could definitely see Lorre in the role of many classic Bond villains, such as Dr. No, Largo, or even Blofeld. Our ally in the film is Clarence Leiter, played by Michael Pate. In my opinion, Barry Nelson and this guy should have switched roles. Unfortunately, back then, I guess the American audience watching the program would have been put off by the main character being British. Nevertheless, Pate makes a great and often comedic ally. They could have at least kept his first name as Felix, though. Lastly, the Bond girl of the film is Valerie Mathis, played by Linda Christian. Amusingly, this character is a mashup of Vesper Lynd and Renee Mathis from the novel. All in all, Christian makes a passable Bond girl. The film itself is in black and white and is filmed decently well for a live television show. The plot is explained by Leiter and is easy to follow. I like the scene with Bond explaining to Leiter how to play Baccarat while Leiter gives Bond his mission. I thought that was a pretty neat scene. There isn't really any action, so to say. There's a slight struggle and a few gunshots, but that's about it. Overall, the 1954 TV version of Casino Royale is an interesting piece of history for the Bond franchise. It marked the very first on-screen appearance of Ian Fleming's popular character, and is fun to look back on. It certainly isn't good by any means, but is still interesting enough to watch once. I give the 1954 production of Casino Royale a 4 out of 10. Briefly, here are my likes and dislikes, shortened down to 3 instead of 5 for the unofficial films. I liked Michael Pate as Clarence Leiter, although he would have been much better suited for the role of Bond. Peter Lorre as Le Chiffre makes a creepy and interesting villain. And lastly, the scene with Bond teaching Leiter how to play Baccarat while receiving his mission was pretty cool. And now for my dislikes. Bond being American and Leiter being British is, to say the least, unacceptable. The character of Valerie Mathis replacing Vesper Lynd is also irritating. And lastly, the film itself isn't all that entertaining, with many scenes dragging along. Well, that's my review of the first of 3 unofficial Bond films. Stay tuned for some time in the near future when I go over the ultimate disaster of a movie ever, the 1967 James Bond spoof Casino Royale. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.